Okay, hey everybody, it's Kevin, and welcome back to another episode of Positivity and Comics. And today we're going to do a review of Soulfinder Demon's Match by Douglas Ernst, Timothy Lim, and Brett R. Smith. And I have to say, um, this is one of the better books of the whole independent Comicsgate scene. I put it right out there with Doug TeNaples' Earthworm Jim. This is really incredible. Let's just take a look. I believe it was distributed by Antarctic Press. Not sure if you can still get it there, but you can get it. You could have got it on Indiegogo over the summer, and this book was fulfilled on time. So there's the plus to that. But it's a great quality here. Square bound, right there with all the names. Beautiful artwork. The back cover here and the front cover are done by David Dorman, who, if you don't know, did a lot of Star Wars artwork back in the day. I believe he did some work for Star Wars Dark Horse Comics and stuff like that. And really, I suggest you look up his work. It's really great. Dave Dorman. So it just starts off right away. There's a lot of great lore in here about religion, occultism, and stuff like that. And it starts right away. You see this guy on fire. It's really a great scene. Timothy Lim did a great job with the colors. I have to say, I did back Timothy Lim's Trump Space Force, but nothing else. And I've seen that he has Black Ops and all this other stuff on Antarctic Press, but it's all sold out. So I'm wondering if I can ever find a way to buy them. I'd really like to check them out. But anyway, the artwork's very colorful here. You have a few of the main characters. The priest here, Father Patrick Redder, and Officer Chua, one of the police officers. So you see all the detail here, looking at his occult book there with the pentagram and the Bible and all sorts of other things. And, it's colorful. Looks good. Basically what's going on here is a bunch of allegedly suicides are happening, and they're asking the father to see what's going on, to see what's really causing it, because it's something more. And you see this little slug creature that'll become interesting later on in the book. And it's really interesting because you see that Father Redder here has all this knowledge of what's going on, and everyone else around him is oblivious. This guy, the doctor, is like, I don't want you in here with your sorcery and that sort of thing. And then he makes his way to this case here. He's over here speaking to the mother of one of the deceased, and she's talking about how he worshipped some evil, I guess, false idol, the Santa Muerta, which is some sort of Mexican, Spanish idol, this little Grim Reaper-looking thing here. So a lot of lore. You gotta, I didn't know what he was talking about, so I actually found myself going away from the book and looking up what these things are. You see other instances where he's speaking in Latin, speaking prayers in Latin, which is what the priests do. And some little action scene here where, you see these guys are speaking some sort of occultic language. Look what they're wearing, So, and they're performing some sort of ritual on this woman. And, he's going in there. He's like, I got to see what's going on. So he goes in there and he's against the demon. And then this other father is yelling at him, saying, because you get a little of the backstory of the father, Father Redder, and he's saying, that he was a former soldier, and the archbishop or the head priest, whatever you would call him, is yelling at him and say, you need to calm down, just go out there and give your sermons. And there's these black matches, and they have this sort of power which brings beings into other places. And you see here, Just Some Diner. I think that's a reference at the YouTuber Just Some Guy. So he's sitting here talking to his colleague, the police officer, and all of a sudden this guy comes walking in his ear, and he's like, "Who was that? What were they whispering?" And he's like, "I didn't hear anything." And all of a sudden he lights the match, and all these spirits come in. His eyes are glowing blue. Really good. And then he gets this sort of flashback. So you saw from the very beginning here when he was on fire. That's actually Patrick Redder, the father, the main character. And he gets a sort of flashback here, Pat, why didn't you save us? You lived. Why didn't you save us? I guess that was his friend in the infantry or whatever. So, some other stuff happens. And then he goes home and, this guy, Reginald, what was his name? Reginald Crane, another priest comes in, and he's another occult being. He kind of reminds me of the guy from The Shining, actually. So, some more lore here. Great stuff. I'm just going to skip a few pages. So, then they're talking about, he smells sulfur and that sort of thing, and his father's come back to haunt him. His father's a police officer, and you see after he leaves, all the bugs and flies are flying on people's heads. It's a common trope in, horror movies. The flies and bugs follow where all the demons are. And also, if you remember one of the debates or a rally from a while ago, a fly landed on Hillary Clinton's face, exposing her for the demon that she is. But, and then you get a little relationship with the family and how his sister here she's got the peace ring, and she's, making fun of him because he's so religious, and, she doesn't understand what that's all about. So, just some great stuff. You're getting some flashbacks when he was a kid. Some more stuff going on. I don't want to show the whole book, but, some more lore here. Really great detail. A lot of research done in this book. It's incredible, though. All the art's great. The instances when they're speaking Latin is great. I thought it was unbelievable. And so then some woman is trying to get a confession, and then she's possessed, so he attacks her, and then it turns out she's a normal woman, and he gets locked up, because he's attacking people now. So then you get a flashback of Reginald Crane with his service, because he was in the service as well. All this other great stuff, A lot of great color and art. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the whole thing, so we'll just go to the end here, and basically he's performing one last little thing, and you saw from the beginning when he was on fire, he actually has a prosthetic leg. So after one of the confrontations with the demon, he's all bitten, his hand's bleeding, his foot is ripped off. He's putting the prosthetic leg back on. Great stuff. And then he goes for one last confrontation. His mother is sick, and performs the exorcism. He's having the flashback from when he was a soldier, and actually is able to harness the power to possess the gun in real life to defeat this spirit. However, his mother passes away, and it just sort of ends like that. May God be with you. They're at the funeral, all the friends at the end. And really, wonderful job. This book was done on time. The art is fantastic. It's square-bound, beautiful book to put on your shelf, or just keep in the box, bagged and boarded with all your other comics. You got some little art here from, how Patrick Redder came to be, initial drawings and so on and so forth. Reginald Crane, and then Officer Chua. Timothy Lim did the artwork. This is the sketch from the cover and back cover by Dave Dorman. And then some more concept art here by Matthew Weldon. I heard Matthew Weldon is going to be doing book 2 when it eventually comes out in 2020 at some point. And then some more Matthew Weldon art. A little thank you note for Douglas Ernst for us back in the book, giving thank yous to the great team he had, his wife, and the fans. And I have to say, one of the best. And it's a shame it didn't get as much traction as many of the other books did, because this book is done by great creators. Like I said, Douglas Ernst, he runs his YouTube channel. He does a live stream like every week or so, talking the latest pop culture, comic news. He works for the Washington Post writing articles. Was it the Washington Post or Washington Times? I think it's the Washington Times. The Washington Post is, you heard the president. He rags on that all the time. I can't imagine him working for that. I think it's the Washington Times, because he's, Douglas Ernst is a nice, conservative. Timothy Lim, Brett Smith, who's done a lot of colors in other books and industry books and so on and so forth. Great colors. Timothy Lim did great art. Did Trump Space Force, did the Black Ops. Is working on the MAGA DeLorean now. If any of you are watching this and know anything about Timothy Lim, or if he's watching this, where can I purchase, the other Black Ops books and things like that? Because I've looked on Antarctic Press and they're all sold out. So I'd like to know if there's another place where I can purchase them, because I'd like to read them. I'm a really big fan of your art. I think it's great. I thought this book was great. I don't want to go on too long. I know I sort of spoiled the whole thing by flipping through it, but I just wanted to show my appreciation for how well this was crafted. Done on time, a fair price. I believe this was the least expensive tier. It was like $23 with the shipping, just for the book, no extras or anything like that. And great deal. I'm going to read this again at some point. Great job, guys. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought if you read the book. And stay tuned for another positivity and comics video coming soon. Thanks. Bye.